Okay, welcome back. Here is part three of how I go about decorating my mug. So I'll bring this up here and maybe I get a little bit. So as you can see, I got a variety of skulls that I've drawn onto the surface here. And I've got these, well, for lack of a better phrase, clay goobers. That is a patented term, copyrighted. Please submit 25 cents in the mail every time you use the word clay goobers. I would like to get paid for that. But beyond that, I mean, I guess you could call them clay boogers, and then wait, that's now patented too and copyrighted. So you'll have to again submit 25 cents in the mail to me every time you use the word clay boogers. Figure why not? Copyright and every other word. But I just like to use a little brush, and I'll go over the surface of it to get rid of my clay boogers, clay goobers, little bits of tiny annoyance. And it kind of just knocks them off, cleans it off. And I'll place it back into this fantastically wonderful clay stand. And now comes the part where I actually start doing what I like to call stippling. And it's tiny little dots, spaced close together to show various layers of color, if you will, values. Now, the closer I put my dots, the darker it's going to appear. First, it's going to start to appear dark for the simple fact that I am putting a hole into a surface and it's going to be casting a shadow, right? Automatically casting a shadow. I'm going to put a whole bunch of them real close together because I want this eye socket here of this skull to appear really, really dark. And that's, it's a skull eye. It might as well appear really dark, right? Who's to tell me it doesn't appear dark, right? I'm the artist. I can do what I want. That's, as I tell my art students, hey, nobody can, once you know the rules, you can break them. And nobody can tell you it's not what it is if you put it on the paper or the clay or the canvas and you make it look like what it is. But I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put all these little tiny dots. And this is the part that takes a long, long time. It really does. This is the really time-consuming aspect. Like I said, the drawing part, making lines, that goes fairly quickly. I think, it's probably maybe 1/3 of the amount of time, total time of putting image onto the cup. It's the stippling. It's this tiny little dots. Now, I will do these over and over again. I really like them, especially. Yes, I could do it a different way. I could do it, with underglaze after the piece has been bisque fired. There is an artist, Juan Barrios, who is amazing. If you haven't seen his work, go look him up. His work is just it is just fabulous and amazing, and just go look him up, right? But the thing that I also like about doing this is that I get a texture into the clay. A cup is meant to be held. You're supposed to put stuff in it and then drink out of it. Put things, near you. It's an interactive piece, if you will, right? You pour your drink into it, it holds, it serves its purpose. You get to smell it, you get to taste the drink. Your eye gets to look at the cup itself. You get to enjoy the view of whatever the cup is. But then you also still have that sense of touch, that tactile sense. And that is, yes, a really nice, slick, smooth, glazed surface feels nice. It can feel nice, but I want more than that, right? I want more than that in my piece. I want people, when they pick it up, not only to see the image, okay, but I want them to feel the image. I want them to, even when they're not looking at the piece, right? Even when they're just holding it and having a conversation about why clay goobers cost them 25 cents to say and how unfair it is, that there'll still be that interaction, that subliminal interaction, because their hand will still be feeling the cup. You know, it'll still feel the surface. They'll still feel the image. And so that's why I do mine with these tiny dots, and I carve in at this leather hard stage, is so that you have that interaction. It really pushes. You know, it's just another way to connect with the viewer, with the user. Um, for me, art, and I don't consider myself to be just a crafter, right? Yes, I could just sit here and make cups all day and throw them, but and there is a lot of mad respect for production potters. But I'm an artist at heart. I am an artist, and I try to make each one of my pieces individualistic. I try to make each piece, yes, it does have a function, so yeah, it does play along that line of, is it art or is it craft, because it is utilitarian. Um, but I like to make all of my pieces have that interaction piece. I think art should be interacted with. You know, if you are looking at a beautiful painting, you should be looking at it. It should draw you in and make you think. And you know, same with a sculpture. You know, that's what my background was in and still is you should look at a sculpture and it should draw you in. And even if, you know, if you can break that point where people want to reach out and touch it and feel the surface and you know, caress it, if you will, then you're really starting to, you know, play, you know, you're really making that connection. And this connection, you know, between the artist and the art and the viewer, it spans distances. You know, I make this cup, I sell it, it travels wherever it's going. It could be 1,000, 2,000, it could be 5 miles down the road, whatever. But, you know, my art is now still making that connection with somebody, and I like that. So just another way of, besides just the image making of the connection, the feel of the connection, that interaction of it, you know. So now I've made all of those dots. It's taken me just a little under 7 minutes just to do 2 eyes and a nostril. And I have a lot more eyes and nostrils to do on here, along with coming back in and doing where I'm gonna do shading too. So what I'm going to do here is, for the shading aspect, is just like here, only I'm not going to put as many dots. You know, a skull's not flat; it's round. So I want to kind of give that illusion of roundness by making it slightly darker around the edges. How do I do that? My stippling dots. You know, it's got a little bit. You know, you got a brow ridge you got to think about, right? So I'm put a little few dots in there for the brow ridge. You know, there's a space in between the eyes that gets a little darker. Because you get that little spot there below the brow ridge, it falls in. You know, the nose bone kind of comes out a little bit, so I'll put a few dots in there on either side just to give it a little bit of value. It doesn't have to be super dark. And I can change up my darkness by, again, how close I put the holes together and also how deep I put them, right? I have found that if I make the holes too deep, the underglaze doesn't go in very well. It doesn't go in, and I have to really kind of work it into the hole to really fill it. So I try not to make them too deep. I prefer, rather, I'll just make a few of them. I'll put more in rather than trying to make really deep ones, right? I can get the same effect visually that I want without having to work it on the backside of really forcing underglaze into those spots. So that's step 3 in this process of decorating a cup. We're going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing these stippling dots all the way around, and then I'll show step 4, which is going to actually be where I do a little more decoration. I've started adding extra things to it. We'll talk about that in the next video. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed my videos, please, you know, hit that that subscribe button, or, you know, and drop a, you know, a nice thumbs up. Tell your friends about it. Show your friends the video. You know, they might be interested in doing something like this, and, you know, afraid to do it. Maybe you're afraid to do it. Just go do it. But anyways, have yourselves a great day.